you all here. We are here with the world famous Cucho, most known for being very involved with Artifact. And I'm excited for him to share this story. This is basically the story of how NFTs can continuously be the gift that keeps on giving. It is unlike any other asset in the world. I mean, if you buy a Ferrari, I don't know. Maybe Ferrari will once give you maybe a jacket if you spent $1 million on it, but who cares really? If you go into NFTs though, you really could just end up getting another Ferrari or another Ferrari and then a Lamborghini and then a gift box and then all those things are in it. This is the power of NFTs and Artifact does is one of the best examples that I've ever seen of how this technology can continue to provide those kind of gifts to those that believe in them from day one. Cucho, my man, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Yeah. Now I'm looking forward to share a little bit more insights into my journey with the artifact and investments, and I hope it be helpful for some people.
Yeah, I think it will be fun if you if we'll share my screen and then we'll give the visual to everyone on a little bit of Cucho's honestly amazing journey with NFTs. It's been it's something definitely worthy of sharing with the people. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it. So I think let's start maybe where I first heard about artifact.
Yeah, I want you to say the whole story. I think it will be really, really insightful.
Yeah.
I'll pull up all the websites. You just tell the story, and I got you.
All right. Sounds great. So I joined the NFT space early last year. I had some money aside and was looking into investments. Came across NFTs through Gary Vee, and then did some research into what are platforms where you can buy NFTs, what are some projects, and so on. And where I started was the on Nifty Gateway, and Nifty Gateway is at that point was mostly focused on just digital artists that minted their artworks as NFTs. And then I think in about March of last year, there was an artifact drop together with Ferocious
Mm.
that I noticed. So that was the first time I came across artifact. And yeah, when I saw that at that point, I think they sold in that drop. They sold 3 pair of digital sneakers, and they sold one at 3,000, one at 5,000, and one at 10,000. I think you got to go to Artifact and it will show up. You got to go to Artifact,
Okay, I'll have
not
to look
Ferocious.
that one up. Yeah, 1 second. The artifact here
Artifact, yeah, in the search bar. So
studios.
that was the first time. Yeah, that was the first time that I came across Artifact. Yeah, these are the shoes. So it was the legendary one that was the most expensive. Then there's the rare one that was the one for 1,000, and there was another one for 5,000. And so I at that point I thought it was cool. And what really made me take notice is that the drop was extremely successful. So they sold, it was an open edition, 7 minutes. And I mean, you look at the numbers here and they add up, I think overall they add up to about $3 million.
Yeah,
And
that's
at
a
that point,
lot of freaking money. And what month was this? Was this like March of
yeah, this was
2021?
March. Yeah,
Yeah.
this was March. So it was a time where there was generally like a ton of attention on Nifty Gateway.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so this was where I came across them. There was the majority of the drop were the shoes, and then they did another limited edition of Fevo Drip, and then there was like a one of one. So that was the whole drop, and I just noticed them, and I thought it was really cool what they were doing. But at that point, I was still very focused on art as a use case.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't, just seeing these sneakers, it didn't click for me yet, that might be, a huge thing in the future. And
Right.
also at that point, I mean, I wasn't ready. Like even $3,000, I mean, that's a ton of money, right, to spend on an NFT. So at that
Right.
point, I wasn't ready to invest like $3,000 on this.
It's amazing that there's 280 people who still went in on it to go buy it. I mean, that's a lot of additions, right?
Yeah, they are, and
Look
there
at
were
the
actually
lowest price
some.
now. Way up there. Double your money.
Yeah, I mean, you more than doubled your money if you think about what all you got from this
That's a
NFT.
good point. Yeah.
So we're getting to that. But yeah, it was the first time I noticed them, and at that point, what I did is I just started to follow them on Twitter and on Instagram, and I just wanted to stay in touch with what they're doing. But yeah, I
Right.
didn't buy any yet, but this was the first time I noticed them. Then, and like I said, I was still very focused on art as a use case of NFTs.
Mm-hmm.
And then a little later, like now we're in around May, or like late April, early May, the Bored Ape Yacht Club mint happened, and I completely missed it. And I missed it also because, again, I was at the beginning very focused on art as a use case of NFT. And so seeing the Bored Apes at first, I didn't really see, like the community, what they were building, because it was different from the type of NFTs I looked at until that point. So I didn't recognize the potential that it had. And
Uh-huh.
then after, of course, Bored Apes were like performing super well right from the outset. And so then I was like, okay, shit, I missed this one. But now, instead of spending like energy on like twirling on this, let me do like a lot of research and maybe, find like the next big thing. Um,
Right. So where'd you go? What website did you go into? NFT websites or news websites?
to do my research, I mean, yeah, just like online research. And then actually one thread that I think that was the first time where I really recognized that maybe fashion is going to be a huge thing. That
For
was a thread,
NFTs.
yeah, for NFTs. So that was a thread by Matty, DCI blogger,
Mm.
and he did a thread, and I think he published that thread on Twitter, maybe even September 2020 or something like that. But I found that thread like half a year later because he had it just pinned to his profile,
Mhm.
and he wrote a thread of 20 tweets, and he laid out like 20 different use cases that he sees for NFTs.
Okay.
And then one of them was fashion. And then I reminded myself back to Artifact, and then I started to dive into like different projects within that were doing like something in fashion. And it became clear to me that Artifact really is they were the biggest ones already back then. So they were like featured. I found articles where they were featured in Vogue, like in I think like 2019, and they did like really cool like AI type sneakers, and they did amazing videos on like TikTok and Instagram. They had a huge following. They
Hmm.
already had like a following of 1 million followers on TikTok, and so that made me think, oh, maybe maybe I'm onto something.
Right.
But still, at this point, I mean, it was now it's easy looking back, right? But at this point, it was still the NFT space was still really small, and no one could knew what really became out of that. But that's how it started, and so then I noticed that they were doing a collab with Jeff Staple.
Mm-hmm.
So Jeff Staple is like a super known sneaker designer. I mean, he's like known as one of the person that completely started like the sneaker culture as collectibles. And yeah, and so he was doing a collab with Artifact where they minted 3 NFTs, and this was like on a pretty small platform. It was called Bitski, and they
Mm-hmm.
minted 2 sneakers. One was the K minus, which was for $500. The other one was a limited shoe of 100 for $2,000. And then they did a one-on-one on Super Rare. Uh,
Oh,
and yeah, and so seeing that, I was like, okay, now for $500, I'm going to be able to get an Artifact NFT, which still at that point, I mean, if you compare it with the favor shows for 3,000, I felt like, oh, this is a good opportunity. and also they already announced right from the beginning that it is going to come with a physical. So
Wow.
I was like, okay, worst outcome, I'm going to just have a, an expensive shoe.
And remind me, how many editions were there?
It was an open edition for 5 minutes. So
5 minutes. And do
yeah,
you remember approximately how many they ended up making?
212, 212.
Wow. So it actually ended up being just about as rare as the Nifty Gateway Fuocious one.
Yeah, yeah.
That was $3,000. So it looks right there, you got a steal of a deal.
Yeah, exactly. It was, yeah, I thought like it was a good deal, but also, I mean, after, again, in hindsight, it's easy, but after, uh, it wasn't just me that was at that point still very focused on just art. Like, still, most of the attention at that point was with art or like started to shift on PFPs. So, still, like, super few people were actually paying attention to Artifact.
Yeah.
And the sneakers went down on secondary at first. So like
Really?
weeks after the drop, you could have bought even the K minus that I bought for 500. You could have picked them up for like 300, 350 or so. I think
Before they even became a physical pair.
I think so. Yeah. I
That's
think they
pretty
went down a
amazing.
little. Yeah. There were people that bought them below 500.
Very cool. So when you got that shoe, how long after until they said you can actually go and get the physical version of it?
Yeah. Oh, one more thing I want to mention. I forgot one NFT that they had in the drop because it kind of is becoming like very iconic.
Okay.
They also did a $1 Meta Pigeon NFT, which was like first come first serve with the addition of 100. I actually tried to get one, but yeah, it sold out like almost immediately, so I wasn't quick enough. But
Wait, what have I been sharing the wrong screen the whole time? Oh, because the TikTok popped up. Oh, sorry everyone. I apologize. It popped up in a new window. But here, I'll show you now. Bitsky, right?
okay, perfect.
I was I was
Yeah,
sharing the wrong
no,
screen, but
exactly. So those were the three NFTs. So I have the one on the left one. That was my first artifact NFT. That was the one that minted like 212 of them. Then we have the one for 2000, which was limited to 100 right from the outset. And then the third one, the iconic meta pigeon, of which there are only 100.
yeah, I'm sorry. When I clicked on the TikTok page from Artifact, it opened up a new pop-up, and I thought that was the one that was being shared. But I'll make sure I won't make that mistake anymore.
No worries. We're all good. All right. So yeah, and I think it was like maybe a month later or so.
Okay.
And they had, so Artifact in generally, they call when you use your NFT to get a physical item. So use your NFT to claim a physical item. Artifact is calling this mechanism like a forging mechanism.
Right.
And so they had a forging event for these NFTs that you see, they had a forging event.
Right.
And so I think if you had the meta pigeon, you were able to forge a t-shirt, and then the two sneakers that you see, you got the physicals. And so I participated in a forging event, and I ordered, this physical sneaker that you see. And then another thing for everyone that participated in the forging event.
Mm-hmm.
So only if you claimed like the physical item, you also got an airdrop of an OG pigeon. So that's this NFT right there. So that was, I didn't have to touch any other money. I just got this for $500, this original K minus sneakers. But then in the forging event, I was able to claim this OG pigeon for free. That was airdropped to my wallet, and I was able to order me the physical pair of sneakers.
Very cool.
Yeah,
That's a legit piece. So,
yeah.
okay, so then what's the next thing? Now you're kind of getting into Artifact, right?
I'm getting into Artifact, but still, like, again, at this point, like, very few people saw the potential of Artifact and was like trading pretty low. I think like the pigeons were resold for like 200, $300 at first on
Wow.
secondary. So, and at that point, I think most attention at this point was on PFPs. So people were like, you probably could, like, any 10K PFP project you was selling out, and like trading heavily, but very few people were paying attention yet to Artifact and what they were doing with these fashion items.
Right.
And I just thought it was really cool. I was like, oh, I bought this for $500. Now I'm getting another NFT and the physical sneaker. Like I just thought it was really cool, but I didn't yet like see the picture of what they might have planned with that.
Right.
And I think no one really did, or maybe very few people did. And it's also
Probably.
kind of a pattern that we are seeing with Artifact, where they drop these NFTs, uh, and then they don't yet share the full story, and like the
Right.
full story is getting revealed as they build more and more, um, about the NFTs, and they reveal like more of the stories and what they've actually have planned with that.
Nice. It is pretty amazing. So,
Yeah.
what you ended up getting another artifact item, is that correct?
Yeah, and at this point, I also have to say, at this point, I wasn't yet on Discord. So, but then I think this was now end of May last year. I was going home. I had like a little bit more time. I was in Germany, and then I was the first time where I found that Discord. And so I
Okay.
was in the Discord. I already could tell like there's kind of like a cool community. And then also I saw that there was actually at this point, I feel like I actually think not yet. I think there wasn't even like rumors yet that they were working on an avatar project at that point. But
Okay.
just I think like being in the Discord, seeing that the founders were really active and that there's a cool community, and made me like think like, oh, I do want to have like I think more exposure to them. And what I did, so the next NFT I bought was the Favor Drip. So going back to the Nifty Gateway drop that they had with Fabocious, yeah, it's right here. Yeah, that's the one. Like I said, they dropped these sneakers at Open Edition, but there was also this Favor Drip NFT that they minted, and I think I think it's a limited edition of 300.
Wow. Yeah, it's
And at this point, because the Nifty Gateway bubble bursted, they sold each of these for $1,500, and it was like a limited edition with a ton of entries. So it was like very unlikely to actually be able to get it for 1,500. And right away, it traded, I think, for multiple. But then this was in the summer, where it was kind of a time like now, where it was like super low liquidity and yeah, very few buyers in the market. And so I was actually able to pick this one up for $1,250. So I
wow.
bought it below the primary market price.
You buy it on Nifty Gateway?
I bought it on Nifty Gateway, yes.
Okay. Very cool.
And one reason why I bought it was because at this point you were already able to forge the sneakers. So they already had a forging event for all of the sneakers, but for the Favor Drip, there wasn't yet any forging. So I thought like, oh, maybe in the future they're gonna come up with something really cool. And so that's why I picked that one. And instead of picking like the shoe where the forging event already happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah, it
interesting.
was like
Okay. So
39.
then from there, what was your next move?
So then I think was where I saw the rumors in the Discord that they were working on an avatar project,
Uh-huh.
and or like a PFP project, and that people were speculating that there is going to be utility for their NFTs.
Okay.
And then I looked at then all of the other collections, and I wanted to increase my exposure. And so the collection that I really liked was the Space Drip collection.
And where'd you find that on OpenSea?
Yeah, so on OpenSea. And I liked it because they're only 500, and I really like the design. So it's like the same, like the Favor Drip, like it has like the same drip model as a template. But then Artifact collaborated with like 19 designers, and each of them created their own design for the Space Drip.
Very cool.
Yeah,
And so what was your move? You were looking, did you just start buying them or did you look for put in offers or what was your move?
I did. I think the first one I got through an offer, so I actually picked up a capsule, a space trip, an unrevealed one,
So it looked
also
like
low
this.
mint price. Yeah, the 500 minted for 0.5, and I picked it up for 0.45 ETH. And then
0.45. Okay.
yeah, so I got that, and I revealed the Jaden drip, and then the second one, that one I bought with my brother, because also at that point I had like low liquidity, but I started to have like pretty high conviction that I could really be onto something. So I bought the second one with my brother, and we bought the audio strip. Um, and
Very
yeah,
cool.
that was like through Discord. I messaged with one of the OG collectors of Artifact that had a lot of the space strips, and he was willing to sell me the audio strip. I think it was for 1.1 ETH.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's epic.
yeah. So those were the ones, and like that's where the rumor started. They were working on an avatar project, and I think they might have already teased it. At that point, they didn't call it Clone X; it was called Akira. Was the code word for it. But yeah, they didn't announce yet what the utility is going to be.
Very cool. So now you got both of these. And so
Yeah,
then now you're a member of the Discord,
yeah. I was a member of this,
and
and then
there's
and then they said, okay, we're doing the avatar project. They started to release some more details, and they also started to share that for each of their OG NFTs that you own, you will be able to mint 3 of the avatars for 0.05. They announced it like pretty early in the um, I think like summer last year.
did they
I
tease
Now we're
them?
like in maybe like June or so, June,
Did
July.
they tease what they were going to look like?
No, no, not at all. No,
Okay.
no.
Did they say the name?
It had a code word, so they said Akira. Akira was the
Okay.
code word for the longest time.
AKIRA.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So that's kind of cool. And
Yeah.
so
And then what happened is they did like a toy drop. So what they did is they did like a challenge within their community, and we can see this now. They still do the same thing now. It's just like bigger, but still at that point, they said, hey, everyone submit your designs of like some toys, and like the
right.
3 best designs that we like, we're actually going to mint them as NFTs. So they did
Interesting.
this creative challenge, and there were in the end there were 3 winners. So they minted those 3 NFTs each as an addition of 20 on Rarible. And the thing was, they only announced that in their Discord at first. They did announce it on Twitter, but they did announce it like right at the time where the drop actually happened. So like if you wouldn't have been on the Discord and wouldn't have been ready on on the site already, like it was too late when they posted on Twitter. And this was a huge opportunity also for people that joined their Discord at that point, because like I said, now they already communicated that there is going to be this utility for all of their OG NFTs, so their floor prices actually moved up quite a bit. But then
Very
these
cool.
toys they minted for 0.125 ETH each,
Wow.
which like which was like $500 a
Where
day
was they where were they minted at?
on Rarible. They minted them through
Oh,
Rarible.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so
So
I was like, okay, fuck it. I gotta go for this. And in the end, I was able to pick up 2 of them actually.
interesting. And so you got 2 more, and what was the price one more time?
0.125 ETH.
0.125 ETH. Wow, that's pretty
Yeah,
special
yeah.
that you
And
got.
like I said, like one of the previous NFTs I bought together with my brother. So then, since I was able to get 2, I was like, hey, let's share that as well. You helped me out since I didn't have any liquidity at that point. So um, I shared it with him as well.
Very
But
cool.
then, yeah, so in the end, we had now 7 of the pre-sale NFTs for the Akira, or what's now known Clone X project. And so then we were able to mint 21 of the Clone X for
Yeah,
0.05 ETH
yeah,
each.
so you wanna explain how that happened exactly? So they said that you're going to get 3 for every single NFT. And what was the date approximately of this at this point in time?
I mean, the Clone X mint happened in December.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
and
and
you
so
had
the
your
Clone X,
toys were
yeah,
acquired at what time? What month?
I think that was maybe late July. I would
Okay,
guess.
so
I would guess
so
late
there's
July.
kind of a big gap, and at that during that time, you were seeing the price of those artifact items really go up. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. Like very
Be-
significant.
because you were able to mint these at 0.05, which
Yeah.
is fucking incredible, and 3 per item that you have. So
Yeah. Exactly.
you had quite a big stash, and you were. This is when I met you, which was right around what end of October, beginning of November, and you were like, "Dude, this is my project that I believe in." And by that time, I remember looking at like those shoes, and they were so expensive to get at that price. Like just to get in, we were talking like 5 figures. So I was like, "Dude, no way." And in comes December. There's a little bit of FUD for a minute there too, right? Where like people started getting a little bit scared of something, and then people
Y-
started selling them for a little bit less. But you
Yeah.
were like, you held strong.
Yeah. I mean, I actually at one point I had a couple of them listed because yeah, even the pre-sale. I mean, the Clone X drop, as they released more details, like they were collaborating with Takashi Murakami, PFPs became bigger and bigger. So, like the pre-sale NFTs, they went up like a lot in price. So I think at one point the floor of the pre-sale NFT was like 17 ETH,
Damn.
just to secure yourself to be able to mint three. And then I had a couple of them listed around that price. I think I had one listed for 17, one for 20. They didn't sell. But then they did the Clone X, the Avatar collection. So about 10,000 people were able to mint through through owning the pre-sale NFTs, so any of the OG NFTs, like I said. And then the other 10,000 went into a public sale where they minted them for 3 ETH. So the plan was to do a Dutch auction starting at 3 ETH.
Okay.
Then what happened though is that their job, went pretty poorly because apparently there was like a lot of bots attacking the site and everything.
Oh, really?
So um, a lot of people weren't able to buy. The price of the Dutch auction went down quite a bit. So then they stopped the whole Dutch auction, and then they announced a little later that the next day they're gonna mint the rest of the clones for 2 ETH. Yeah, the next day.
Still a
And so
lot of
if
money.
you think about value, like at that point, I actually, given that the pre-sale NFTs went up to like 17 ETH, and then in the end, people were able to mint them for like 2 ETH. So my artifact portfolio went down quite a bit, and a lot of people were flooding. And yeah, it's a lot different to how it's now. Like a lot of people said Clown X, and yeah, we're giving Artifact a lot of fun, but like I really trusted them, and I watched a lot of interviews with them. I looked really deep into the background of all of the founders, and I feel like it's like they are founders. They have like a perfect synergy, and they were, they were experts and had huge success in each of the fields um, that they were in individually, and then as a team, I had high confidence they're going to do huge things. And then also just looking at what they did, right? My first experience with them, I realized they have like their collectors are their priority, right? Like they have their collectors in mind in everything they do. Looking back
Right.
at, I buy the shoe NFT, they airdrop me another one, and I can claim the physical one. Then for each of their early NFTs, I can mint like 3 of their avatars basically for free. So I didn't lose like trust in them like any second. Like I really felt like no, they're gonna they are gonna do huge things.
And
Yeah.
they did for sure.
If I would have liquidity, I would have picked up more at 2 ETH. Like I had really, really high conviction that's
Well,
gonna
it's
be
easy
great.
to say now, but at the time, I mean, 2 ETH is a lot of money for anyone. And I also want to add that this was also like a time prior to any announcement of any collaboration or acquisition, and there's uncertainty for sure, but you held strong because you believed in the team and you believed in them since day one, correct?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I had really high conviction.
All right, so you mint them, right? And then you open up your bag. Do you want me to show some of the ones that you have? Or do you want me to show your wallet, or it's up to you?
Yeah, you can. It's a
Okay,
bit
cool.
spread out.
Which number is it, Cucho?
I mean, it's on the cold wallets, so you have to go
Which
Kuchu.
they're all cold wallets. Don't try to hack my friend.
Yeah, yeah, but it's on the more hidden accounts, so you have to go Kuchu to
Oh,
NFT.
I'll show
Yeah, it's a
everyone. This is how you find Cucho's accounts. You look at his activity. Let's see. Is
So
this
yeah,
one
I
of
mean,
them?
yeah. So like I said, we were able to mint 21, and then in the end, and then it kept going. So for every clone that you owned around like Christmas, they airdropped you a space pod, and so a space pod, uh, yeah, they only said like, oh, the space pod is like your or a space for you where you can hang up your NFTs, right? But then also at that point, and again, this goes back to them when they drop an NFT, they often don't yet tell the whole story of the bigger initiative or project that they have planned with it. So I was like, I think this might be like the start to the virtual world, right? So this might be something like a land in the Centerland or something. So um, yeah, just
So
through that experience, I felt like I don't think it's a good idea to sell them off because I think they have bigger things planned than
right. So
just
let's just do the numbers really quick for the people who are watching this. So at this point, after you make the deal with your brother, so that you guys have separate wallet accounts, you have 16 Clone X's. Is that correct?
yeah.
And so therefore, you got 16 apartments, right?
Yeah, I actually did a trade. So I never sold, actually, I never sold an artifact NFT, but I traded two for my reptile.
Right.
So, and I traded them after the space pod airdrop. So I got 17 space pods, but I got 16 monolith.
Got it. And with regards to this point, it was definitely announced that the uh, acquisition of Nike was in full force. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, that came like, yeah, that's true. That
And
came like
what happened to the
days after.
price? Well, I mean, what? So on the secondary market, did it ever go below two?
It did, yeah, it did. Like the
Jeez,
comments, I think, went to maybe the lowest even was like 1.5, I would say. It definitely went below two. And
1.5. Wow,
yeah,
but not. It didn't get to one.
yeah. And then when they made the Nike announcement, it was like immediate, like you couldn't OpenSea couldn't catch up. Like
So what did it get to?
it
Like
was a
what was
huge
the?
pump to like 6 ETH or something, I think.
Okay, so from
One of the
1.5
biggest
to
pumps, yeah.
6. That's amazing. Okay. And so then you get the apartment on
Yeah.
Christmas, and that was a huge drop for you. And did you have uh 18 at the time, or did you have 16 at the time?
17. So yeah,
17.
my portion was 17. We still
Okay.
had all, but yeah, now we split up.
Okay. And then you did the reptile move, and then what was the next big move that occurred that was a big win for you?
Yeah, so then I think this was now maybe, let's say maybe February. So then they started saying like, oh, airdrop season is coming up. And
Okay.
then what happened is they airdropped. So for each clone, you got airdropped the monolith that you see here in the center. And then for each space pod that you own, you got airdropped loot pod.
Oh my god, I did it again. I'll never fucking do that move again. I'm so sorry. You got to tell me when the screen's still. That's my mistake. I'm not used to. I should just share my whole screen rather than all the other moves. Next time, I
Okay,
promise.
no worries. Yeah, no,
I was showing everything. Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. There you go. That's the monolith for sure. And I'll Kucho stuff. Man, I had it all perfectly showed. This is the benefit of doing it live, friends. This was the on cyber one too.
oh, okay, perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one.
Very good. So you have all these apartments, and they're saying that it's airdrop season, and they say that you're going to get a monolith box. And the monolith box, I mean, it was an adventure to get it. Do you want to explain some of that? This is after it's been demonstrated what's inside. You could see it's clearly a sneaker, but before you had no idea what was going to be on the inside of it.
Yeah, exactly. So they made like some fun like quests out of it. So I think there was like, maybe it was in the end it was at least a couple of months where like every second week or so there were some quests where the community had to solve some puzzles. I think one was focused on the blockchain, and one you had to go to like the loot pod and solve something there. So yeah, they made like these quests.
It was a lot of fun. It
Participated in
was
that. Yeah,
it
that's
was
awesome.
a lot of work, but here's like an example of like what it entailed. Like you had to solve like these crazy puzzles with people, and if you did successfully solve it, you started getting the map together. And once all of them were completed, that's when, oh fuck, it did it again. I did it again. My
No,
bad. There you
I'm
go.
seeing the I'm seeing the puzzle.
Yeah, and then yeah, I just wanted to zoom in so people could see a little bit better there. So yeah, but once it was resolved, then it got to the point where you could actually um, get it to the get it revealed, which was awesome. And then you received 3 items. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. So if you reveal the monolith, you get how's it called? Crypto kicks, a crypto kicks,
Yep.
a vial, and then actually another monolith.
This was the second
Yeah,
monolith, or this is the second
this is
monolith
the
right
second
now,
monolith. Yeah.
and we
So
don't know what's in there.
we don't know what's in there, but like they keep that pattern going, right? It's like three branches where they always, with whatever they do, they keep building onto what they've done previously. And so, you get, so far you get rewarded like over and over again by them.
Right, and these are the Nike Dunk Genesis, which you can see the little gap up there, and that's designed to hold a skin vial, which looks like this. So you're getting 3 items per box, uh, and one is another box, which will obviously hold more items as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the
Yeah.
sound.
And
Yeah.
so the skin vial is what you can utilize to combine the shoe with uh with skin vial, and if you do, then it becomes like a different style of a shoe, like this one, right? And we're
Exactly.
thinking that there may be a point in which you get a free, or some, maybe not free, but a physical version of these shoes, right?
Yeah, I think that's confirmed.
And there's
Yeah.
only a maximum amount possible of 20,000 of the original shoe, like this.
Yes.
And what's the floor right now? It's looking good at 1.45. So thanks Artifact for hooking up Kucha with some more cash money. And in total, so technically you have 16 monolith boxes, each of which has those 3 items. So you get 16 of these shoes, 16 skin vials, and 16 new monolith boxes, right?
Yes.
And so then from there, you also got one more item after the apartment, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So for the apartment, for each apartment, they airdropped these loot pods as well, which is like a second room that you can connect to your space pod.
Yeah,
So you
you
can
enter
make
from
your,
like over
yeah,
here or something, like down below, and then you can put all your stuff on the wall. And then this leads to another room, which they're still
yeah.
building. But on Cyber is pretty amazing stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like a different approach, I think, to like the more traditional ones, like Decentraland, where they're doing the land sales. So it's I mean, we will see in the future, but I do like their approach, where you can, actually really use it and customize it, your own space right from the beginning. But we will see. We will see how it's gonna turn out in the future.
We will see. And correct me if I'm wrong, but there is a statement that you will have the ability to combine some of these apartments to make a bigger apartment. Is that right?
Yeah, they confirmed that there's going to be a burn.
Look, there's a monolith box. So that's very, very exciting. I'm very excited for that happening because you have enough that you could definitely burn a few, right?
Yeah, let's
I'm
see. I
assuming
don't
you
know.
will.
We gotta see what the mechanics are, but probably, yeah, I would assume so.
Very good. So, man, it's a crazy thing if you actually like calculate it. Because like, let's just look really quick. I think like for the people, you gotta like at least appreciate these numbers, which are fucking insane. Oop, see, new pop up. 1 second. Bam, 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 bam. 12.19 floor, and we're talking in a bit of a bearish market too, right? So with 12.19 being the floor, and you got some pretty attractive clone X's. I think we can agree on that one. And especially like your reptile, like the reptile is a very expensive clone X to say the least. But at the floor right now, they're $21,573, and it's not like they're not selling. They're still going pretty active. 23 minutes ago, one sold for 21 grand. So you have quite a lot. Hey, there's a reptile right there, 22 ETH. That's 38 grand, and yours is a more attractive reptile than that for sure. And so you add all of those combined, plus you add all the monolith boxes combined, which is a freaking lot of money. It's MNLTH. Those are 5.69, but it's because you know that if you get one, you're going to get three more items in them. So those are 10 grand a pop. And yeah, it's an ongoing freaking adventure that you're literally getting airdropped so many things. Oh, and you didn't even say you now get the physical from your space trip too.
Oh
That was
yeah,
the
yeah,
big.
that's true. Yeah, so they're continuing their pattern. So now they're doing a forging event for the space trips, of which I still have one. My brother has one. So we're
So
gonna
let's see if I can pull up the shoes themselves.
yeah, so
And
we're gonna be able to forge a physical which comes with an NFT.
let's see if I can find. That's right. RTF. There they are. They look like this. Oh, here. That's a good image of them. So you're gonna
Old
get.
ones. No, that's not
Oh,
the new
those
one.
are the old ones, but
Ones that
you
they
get the
originally
idea.
yeah.
These are the newer ones right here.
Yeah,
They
that's
got
it.
the Nike
That's it.
Nike
Exactly.
logo on the outside and the artifact logo on the inside. But
Yep.
they're Air Force Ones, and there's some exciting rumors behind them. That's for sure. But I don't want to say them until they're official. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yes, congratulations,
I
Kucho. You've had a hell of a run. Is there anything else you want to add to this story?
I mean, it shows like how amazing of a brand, Artifact, and I still have the same conviction I had like a year ago. I haven't sold any of my Artifact NFTs at that point. I just, like I
Right.
said, I just traded two clones for my reptile, but other than that, I haven't sold anything. And for me, just looking back at how they have been releasing NFTs until this point, I do think it's like a pattern, right? It's a pattern that shows you how much they value their collectors, how everything they're doing, it's building onto what they've done until that point. So they making creating like value bridges between them and their collectors. So they do, as they grow as a brand, they do want to their collectors to immensely get rewarded for that. And they do that by doing these drops where, a lot of the value will be able to be captured by their collectors, and how Artifact is making their money is through secondary. So that's
Right.
just their strategy. And yeah, also in general, I mean, I feel like they're doing super innovative stuff. I feel like a lot of people are just drawn to them as a brand. And the last thing I think is what's really cool, which is like the space trip example, is that they encourage their community to get really creative and
Mm-hmm.
actually, create crazy opportunities, not just for collectors, by the value that they provide to them, but also to creators in their community. And if you look at, for example, if you look at these designers of the toys, or if you look at the space trip creators,
Yeah.
like most of them were super small designers at that point, but Artifact has completely changed their lives. If you think about, you know, or the visibility that they gave them, the funds that they were able to get through like the secondary, and then now they even have an official. I mean, now they even all get an official Nike shoe, so that's huge. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Like
their
this is
whole
one of
life
the
for that,
artists
and
of
they just made it happen for each of these designers within a year.
yeah, and this was one of the artists that made the space strip one. I think is this the one your brother has? He has
Yeah,
Odia, and look out how many net sales he's had. Like it's pretty crazy. Or total artwork value. Like holy crap. And like a big of his journey has been the artifact. So it is a great opportunity for creators to get involved to hopefully launch them. And now they're doing things with their loot pods to make them more customized, and we'll see how it all pans together. But it's been a hell of a journey for you, and I'm very, very, uh, I'm very happy for you, man. I mean, it's definitely completely transformed your portfolio, to say the least.
yeah, for sure. I'm very grateful.
Definitely. Is
Get
there
that done.
anything else you wanna bring up before we wrap it up? I think that you gave some pretty amazing insight as to how this all comes together.
Yeah. No, I think that's it. I hope it was helpful. And I hope what was helpful is just my thought process and like the research I went through to find Artifact, and then also where my conviction, how I built my conviction, just, having a very close look at how they tend to go about the NFT mints and looking into the team and things like that. I hope that that's
Right.
the that's the value, for
There's a
anyone
lot of
listening
value.
to that. So I
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty good visual that helps give you an understanding. You got the shoe. The shoe ended up becoming a shoe plus one. I think it was this pigeon, right? This pigeon right here.
Yes, exactly.
The Meta OG. That gave you three of those. Plus, you also got the toys and also the space trip capsules. But let's just focus like the shoe. Pretend that's a shoe. One pigeon, three mint vials, which becomes three clone X's each at 0.05. And then those gave you the parts on Christmas. I remember it was a very exciting Christmas for Cucho. And then you also got the monolith boxes, which at this point we know is three more items. And then one of them is another monolith box, which will lead to something else. And then the apartments also led to the loot storage. So it's been fucking amazing. I mean, if you look at the total price, your shoe was $500. Then you got the Meta OG for. Did you get it for free or did you get it for $1?
For
You just
free.
got it airdropped, the
Yeah.
Meta Pigeon OG, right?
Yes.
And then so the only purchases you made were the mint vials at 0.05, which is nothing. It's like so little money. And now just like I think you sell, I mean, you barely have to sell anything to pay back everything. I'm sure you already did it. So it's pretty fucking amazing story. It really is. I remember when you told me this, I was tripping balls about it.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And I
Yeah.
just realized I even forgot one thing. So out of the mints, there were three Murakami trips, and then Takashi
Oh yeah.
Murakami did his own flower project instead. For every clone that you have with Murakami trip, you'll be able to mint one of those NFTs, I think, for 0.07. So I was able to mint three of them as well. Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's the gift that keeps on giving. Yeah, that's why we got the title. It truly is.
There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. Well, congratulations, Cucho. I think it's really, really cool that this all happened. And yeah, I mean, how do you feel about him moving forward? You feel confident with him?
I mean, yeah, like I said, I still have generally an Artifact. I still have the same conviction. I would, I mean, I do consider definitely, and not right now, looking at how the market is, but um, in the next bull run, I definitely am planning on taking some profits. And yeah, but still, I'm very, very bullish on them. But I think it's just the reasonable thing for me to do. And I have so much exposure to them that I could do that by still keeping a lot of exposure to them. So
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm very, very excited for you. Ever since this announcement was made, I've really become a big believer long term that this is going to work out just great. So it's looking good, my man. I'm excited for you. And yeah, I'm grateful that we were able to document your journey with this because it's been a wild one to say the least.
for sure.
All right, my
Perfect.
man.
So I think, yeah, let's close it out just for everyone listening. So Button and I, we are having a Discord called the HODL. It's a community of people that are passionate about the NFT space, and our motto it is let's all win together. For us, that means let's help each other out in finding new opportunities, sharing our learnings, sharing knowledge, and it's been going amazing. So we're gonna post the link to the Discord below if you wanna join that. And also Button and I, we're doing these streams as well as a daily Twitter Spaces, to talk a little bit more of some of our learnings and daily market news. Button, anything
Perfect.
else from your end? Anything I missed?
Nope. No, I'm grateful that I hope I did the visuals justice to your journey. I apologize for the tab thing. That won't ever happen again, but I think that it did
No.
provide enough of a visual to help people who maybe aren't familiar with Artifact or how NFTs can continue to give gifts in the future. I think that that was the big message, the big takeaway. So go in with high conviction on the projects that you've done your research on, and if you really believe they'll be around for 5 to 10 years, pull that trigger. It might be a life changing opportunity, like it has been for Kucho.
All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in.